Number two, Lance Leipold. Easily could argue him for number one. Easily. I mean, the job that he's done in Kansas is unbelievable. Unbelievable. He's only 17 and 21 in Kansas. You're like, what? That's not impressive. Are you kidding me? 15 and 11 in the last 2 years. They hadn't been to a bowl game since 2008. And not only, well, they've been to two in a row. Did they win? They've won 2 years in a row, right?
No,
No, they
remember they
lost
lost to
last year.
Arkansas?
They lost last year. Oh, they probably should have won that game. There was a weird play call at the end there, but I mean, he was 109 and 6 at Wisconsin Whitewater. At Buffalo, he's 37 and 33. Just wins everywhere he goes, man. And he's a fantastic offensive mind, super innovative. Now, I had him ranked at three. That was tough. I mean, and the reason why I have that is because very uncertain about the future there. You lose your best recruiter on defense. You lose your offensive coordinator who is spectacular. The thing is, though, is I believe Lance Leipold will be fine. And it's like, I don't know. It's weird because like I'm not sure that the one that I have ranked, the two coaches I have ranked ahead of Lance Leipold, I'm not sure if either of those two guys would do better at Kansas than Lance Leipold, but I don't know. It was a really tough decision for me. I have some biases. I have some biases. But yeah, I think Lance Leipold's absolutely perfect at Kansas. What do you think? You had him ranked
Yeah,
number
and
one.
yeah, because he's done so much more with less. And you mentioned that like who else is going to succeed at Kansas? Not many people have it. A lot of people tried, not many people could. And the fact that Lance Leipold's still there after a couple awesome seasons, bringing in some good talent, recruiting well. Yes, he's losing some coaches, but that's the consequences of success. Good problem to have. If anyone can do it, I think Lance Leipold can replace those guys. I'm not too worried about it. I just have at this point, it's crazy. That's only 2 years of Lance Leipold at Kansas, but also like it's many years at Buffalo. You mentioned Whitewater. Like it is, I just have blind faith in him. Where he's almost like Kalen DeBoer, like another guy, small school guy, worked his way up, and it just have a blind faith where it's like, hey, like this guy just knows how to coach and wins, and there's a reason why good culture, good coaches, good programs come out of his teams. It's awesome. It is awesome. I think he is so good. I love how they're recruiting, and they're kind of getting national because the hotbed in Kansas is not really there. They're kind of dabbling in a
Yeah.
bunch of other places.
They do well in
So
Missouri though, and they
yeah,
do well in Texas.
yeah, which you have to do, and a lot of good stuff. And so yeah, we will see here. I think the top three, like it was tough to put Leipold ahead of Kleiman and Whittingham. Obviously those guys are a tier of their own, which I have tier one, just like league coaches. And I think Whittingham is just awesome because he's done it forever, but also he's had time to build that program. Lance Leipold, like, is just scratching the surface on what he can do here. And we'll see. He's been in a lot of coaching rumor mixes, but he's kind of reaffirmed his commitment to Kansas. And they've been committed to him. I think that there's potential there, not necessarily because of the hotbed that is the talent in the Kansas and Nebraska area, but just the NIL structure there with the basketball team. You have to get some of that. The football team, they're getting a new stadium, so next year they'll be playing in like the Kansas City Chiefs stadium and like some other weird stuff. But regardless, I'm super high on Leipold. I love that he's getting the
Yeah.
attention he deserves, and I don't think you can say enough good things about him and what he's done to Kansas because you forget a couple years ago, Kansas legit a awful team, one of the worst team in Power Five football, and it was not even close. They went a long time without winning a conference game in the Big 12, and yeah, it's pretty impressive what Leipold's done.
Yeah, I mean, this is their highest recruiting class in well over a decade. I mean, Deshaun Warner was their highest rated recruit ever that they've gotten. And
Yeah, and
then,
he was a late rise stud.
yeah, and then Brinkley and Alexander are all in their top 10 recruits of all time that have ever committed there. So it's interesting. It is interesting to see no recruits from Kansas, like you talked about. They're getting a little more national, but hey, it's kind of what you got to do. So I like where Lance Leipold's at. You could argue him number one, and I do not have a problem with you putting him at number one. I worry about I just worry about like I've talked about it a ton of times for this Kansas team in the last 2 years, man. The turnover luck has been insane, insane, and you're losing all of that Big 12 talent in this, or all Big 12 talent in the secondary from those 2 years. See how that goes, man. We'll see how that goes. I have faith in Lance Leipold's offense for sure. For sure. I mean, they're returning pretty much everyone again, which is crazy to think about. Second year in a row, they're seemingly returning everyone, which is nuts. uh, yeah, I believe in that. But just, I don't know. I just have a weird feeling. He's such a good coach, though. I have faith in him. I have faith in him. So putting him I had him at 3, but man, I had such a tough time, man. I had such a tough time because it's like, what have they done relative to what they have? Like, what's the future looking like? Production on the field, he has all of it, but